Hello, welcome to the channel. Main characters, the fox, the dragon, and the owl. Nick, Machu Picchu's misty mountains. The jungle around them suddenly vanished, replaced by the misty, mountainous ruins of Machu Picchu. They must have been so hard to build in such a tough landscape. Drax, the dragon, landed heavily on the ground, sending a flock of brightly colored butterflies fluttering into the air. I bet I could lift that. With a mighty effort, he heaved the stone block off the ground, but it only moved a few inches. Drax huffed and puffed, but the stone wouldn't budge. And to think that they grew crops here, too. It's just amazing. The three friends stood in silence for a moment, taking in the beauty of the ancient city and the stunning mountain landscape around them. They knew that they had been lucky to stumble upon this hidden gem, and they promised to keep its magic and mystery alive in their stories forever. Maybe we should explore a bit more, Nick suggested. Drax nodded, wiping the sweat from his brow. As they continued their exploration, Nick noticed something small but perfectly preserved, an ancient seed buried in the cracks of the stone. What a perfect find! That's no tough landscape. I could move that boulder over there with my tail. He knew that this tiny seed was evidence of the Incas' incredible agricultural genius. Can you imagine? 800 years ago, the Inca people lived and thrived here. They farmed the steep slopes, terraced farms high up in the mountains, growing crops in the thin air. And look at this tiny seed. It's just so perfectly preserved. Just think about that. The Inca people would have planted this very seed long ago, and now we're finding it here today, Nick said, carefully brushing dirt off the seed. He flexed his tail, nearly knocking Nick off his tiny perch. Be careful, you two. This place is ancient. It's over 800 years old. Just imagine all the amazing Inca people who once walked these very stones. High above them, condors circled and howler monkeys chattered. Don't go too fast, Flipp. You'll exhaust yourself, Ollie called after him. But Flipp just kept going faster and faster until he reached the top of the steps. Ha! Ha! I win, he shouted down at Ollie. Not so fast. There's a whole other set of steps over here. Flipp turned and raced away. Ollie shook his head and smiled. Some things never change. Look at those mountains, said Ollie. Wow. Ollie loved exploring the ancient city. He talked about the Inca civilization while Flipp, the fox, raced up the many stone steps. Drax lumbered over to a huge stone block bigger than he was and grunted. Nick, the little hedgehog, had a big appreciation for the tiny details, a quality that often went unnoticed by the others. Wow, said Drax. I can't believe that the Inca people were able to build such an amazing city in such a tough landscape. The end.